Well, I figured I'd do another video today just for the heck of it. You know, because a lot of stuff's going on out there. But the thing is that I'm gonna tell you a little bit of wisdom here. Now, I learned this young. Okay. And what I learned is that you should just keep your mouth shut. Okay? Just keep your mouth shut. If you're going to do something, just do it. That's it. You know, just always keep your mouth shut. If something needs to be handled, just handle it. Keep quiet about it. That's it. You know, people like this dictator who was in Iran, been there forever. There was a hostile takeover by these Muslims, Muslim dictatorship. So that's the thing about Iran. It was a whole Muslim dictatorship, took over Iran. The king went into exile. I imagine now that they will probably bring the king back into power and reestablish, you know, the kingdom and whatnot. I imagine that's probably what will happen. If you look at old videos, you know, there was no ninja masks on women or anything back in the day, back in the 70s. It's a totally different country. The Persian people, you know, they had their own country, they had their own ways of life, and then the Muslims came in and took over. The Shah, or not the Shah, what the heck was the Khomeini, Ayatollah. The Shah got ousted, and the Ayatollah came in. Ayatollah Khomeini. Anyway, Trump and Bibi did Iran a big favor. They did them a big favor. They basically whacked out the current government, and then Trump said, okay, you people now have the chance to take your country back. Do it now because it may never come again for generations and generations. So they have been uprising for a long time. So that's the thing, you know, I mean, it's why I keep emphasizing to people from other countries why Americans are an armed populace, because then Iran situations don't happen. Japan learned early. They said you cannot never invade America, because in the United States there's a gun behind every blade of grass. It's impossible to take that country over. You see? Hopefully this is like a light bulb going on for a lot of people outside of the United States. This country will never be taken over. This country right now has people in the government that want to disarm the people. That's never going to happen. I can guarantee you. They can whine and cry and moan and pass all the little pieces of paper that they want. But this country is never going to disarm. People will not disarm in the United States. Never disarm. Ever. Don't ever disarm. Because then things like Iran happen. This is like a perfect example of why you don't disarm the people. Why the people never disarm. So, nobody in Iran was allowed weapons except for their Muslim army. You could not be in the army there unless you were a Muslim, unless you had total allegiance to the Ayatollah Khomeini, etc. you know, yeah. So there was absolutely no way, unless they really just, acted like army ants and went in and took AK-47s and whatnot. They got their act together and they just went in and decided to, we're just going to take our losses and overrun. They never did, though. But now they've been rioting and everything, and it's time to get rid of those scumbags anyway. It really was time to get rid of them. This that happened is not against the Iranian people. They know that. They were told to stay in their houses. They were told, don't come out until we're done. When we're done, you take over your country. You take it back. So they will probably bring the Shah of Iran, the king of Iran, they will probably bring him back. He left, into exile. They'll probably bring him back. They will probably oust the Arabs and others that have come in. They will probably oust them. And it will probably go back to a Persian monarchy and so forth. It's too soon to say a lot of things. However, this is a teaching moment for people who are against guns. You don't have to be a Looney Tune in our government. You could be a Looney Tune in the populace. Oh, guns are evil. Get rid of guns. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Jaw flapping all the time. Nobody wants to hear that no more. Just knock it off. Knock it off. The guns are never going away. Nobody's ever going to give up their guns. There's never going to be a mass turn-in of any guns. There's never going to be a time when guns are not manufactured. There will be a time when the people tell the government, you know what, we're not going to pay these taxes on these barrels, we're not going to do registration, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. They'll tell the government, the people will. You know what, we're done. Get your hands off our guns and just sit down and be quiet. Okay? So this is like a two-edged sword here. It's a weird situation. The U.S. government has basically worked with Israel to alleviate the people of Iran of their dictatorship, but yet we still have clowns like Ilhan Omar in our government. We need to get rid of her. She needs to be stripped of everything and either deported back to Africa as a minimum, or she needs to be put in Gitmo for the rest of her life with absolutely no opportunity to leave. Sounds harsh, but the thing is that she's dangerous. She's very dangerous. And we need to get all of these dangerous people out of our country. We have to get all of these dangerous people out of the United States. All of these Somalis and all of these scumbags from different countries that have come in here, and all these bleeding heart liberal leftists, we could get rid of them too. You know what? What country do you want to go to? We will deport you to your country of choice. We want you out. I don't care if you were born here or not. You know what? If you are a danger, an enemy to this country, then you are going to leave or you will be imprisoned. You see? Sounds pretty crazy, right? But you know what? I mean, the thing is that things have to be done. Something has to be done, and some drastic measures have to be done. I would say more or less anybody who fits into certain parameters that you, at a minimum, you need to be deported. I would say that, yeah. Anybody that comes from a country that is, you know, look at what we got here. Who's doing all this? We got all these Somalis, right? We got all of these Somalis here in this country doing all these illegal things, swindling money from the people through fake businesses. Okay, they found all of that out in Minnesota and now in Maine. And where else is it? Where else is it? You know, all these people need to be gone. They need to go. It's time to get rid of them. You know, they just need to be gotten rid of. We need to extricate them from this country, and we need to get rid of them. Put them all on a boat and send them back to Africa or wherever they came from, and bye. And I'll tell you what I would do. I would put around this country, around the border, I would put a detonating device that if anybody came within 1,000 feet of the border of the United States, that a bomb would go off in the person who's exiled from the United States. I would have a medical device implanted in their brain, each and every person that's been exiled from the United States. I'd put a bomb in their brain that if they got within 500 feet or 1,000 feet of the United States, that would go off and just blow their head off. Quick and painless. Sounds pretty crazy, right? But you know what? Extreme things call for extreme measures. That would definitely dissuade people from wanting to creep into the United States. I suggested that a long time ago for the border of between Mexico and the United States. I suggested that a long time ago. Well, yeah, I'm a Christian, but something has to be done. You know, the people have got to get together on this and say, hey, you know what, this is our country. We need things for us, and we don't need people coming in and trying to take advantage of us and stealing from us. It's like all these leftist people say, yeah, it's okay that they have these fake businesses and steal all this taxpayer money from us. Yet they cry about, you know, the government trying to bleed everybody of tax money all the time. Well, where do you think that tax money is going to? It's going to those people who have these illegitimate things going on, and they're swiping all that money. So who are you going to cry about now? What are you going to cry about now? I don't like paying taxes. And I don't like them increasing taxes every year for this or that or the other thing just because some scumbags that come in our country and they create these illegal companies and they're the ones that are causing the taxes to go up. So you want to cry about the taxes? Hey, I'm supposed to make $40,000 a year at this job, and my tax form says that I only really make 20. Welcome to reality. You know what? A lot of government workers, though, don't pay taxes. They don't pay income taxes. That's right. They don't. And one of my family members, I have several family members in the tax business. They're accountants. Some are international accountants. And one of them said they had a new employee come to where they were working, and the employee was crying about his income because now he's getting taxed. He was crying about his paychecks because now he is getting taxed, and he was only receiving about half of what he thought he was going to get. And he used to work for the state. He used to work for the state, and he was a state employee, and he didn't pay income tax. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. So there are some government employees do not pay income tax whatsoever. They get their full check. But what is good for them is not necessarily good for you, huh? Yeah. You need to look into that. You know what? People need to start making some demands in this country. You know, we need to demand some people get taken out of government. We need to make demands that they need to get their hands off of our Bill of Rights. We need to demand that every state honor our Bill of Rights. I don't care what their state constitution says. It needs to be in agreement with the United States Bill of Rights. The U.S. Constitution. State constitutions have to be in agreement with the U.S. Constitution. You cannot have two different things. You can't have too many chiefs. You got 50 chiefs? You need one chief. The U.S. Constitution needs to be the only chief. Every state has a constitution. You know what? I understand every state wants to be its own state, but the thing is that this is a country. This is a country, and it has to be united. It has to be united. If you have different states that say different things about your guns, then they're not united. If you got one state that prohibits almost every gun from a person, that's not being part of the United States. That's being a traitor because it doesn't honor the U.S. Constitution. You guys have got to get it together in this country. We got gun companies leaving one state and moving to another because of that state doing things that are unconstitutional. I'll tell you how it is. It's unconstitutional. You know what? If you say you can't have a gun, that's unconstitutional. I don't care who it is or what it is. It doesn't matter. Even felons. You know what? If you take somebody and you put a Star of David on them, I'm just giving you an example. If they go around the rest of their life, and everybody in this country knows, oh, you got that Star of David on you, you're a convicted felon. You know what? I'm not a convicted felon. But the thing is it doesn't matter. If you say, oh, this person can't have guns, you know, we're going to put a star on them. We're going to badge them, you know. That's cruel and unusual punishment. That is banned in this country. But yet, they're trying to tell somebody, oh, you can't have guns for life. That's not constitutional. It's not even right. You can't tell somebody that. You need to wake up, people. They're trying to use things like, oh, this person's a bad person. We're gonna put a star on them and badge them for life. They can't have guns no more because of blah blah blah. You know, the Constitution does not say that. And the Constitution will never say that. No. The Constitution says, shall not be infringed. There's a reason for that. Iran is a very good reason. Using that as an example, that is a very good reason why everybody in this country, in the United States, should have guns. To keep this government in check. And to keep people in check. You know that term that's very popular in the last few years lately? FAFO? That should be something that everybody holds dearly to. FAFO. F around and find out. When I grew up, FAFO was in full function with my dad and with I and my brothers. FAFO. It didn't exist back then. You know, the saying didn't exist. But the thing was, if you effed around, you found out. Because you know what? We used our Second Amendment liberally. Very easily. Keep screwing around our house, the shotgun came out. It's the way it was. Get off our land or you're going to get shot. That's the way we did things growing up. Things happen. Stuff happens, just pull the shotgun out. Or you pull the AR-15 out. Or you pull out the AK-47. Or what have you. Okay? That's the way we handled things when I grew up. We handled things harshly and quickly. And we used guns to back it up. And that's what the Second Amendment is about. Use it to defend yourself, defend your property, defend your family, defend your friends, and last but not least, to keep a tyrannical government in check. It's absolute God's truth. Right? Now, then you look at Iran. Iran has been under an oppressive regime since 1979. Now they better pull up their bootstraps and take care of business. I hope they've been squirreling some AK-47s away. Yeah. Alright, so I figured the videos would be flying out there. And people's opinions would be flying out there. But these are my opinions. My opinion is that a strong country is an armed country. And that everybody should have arms. And we need to get rid of all of these scumbags that have infiltrated our country. They have to leave. They have to go. If the government doesn't get rid of them, the people need to get rid of them. It's just going to happen. It's just the way it's going to have to be. I hope you agree. If you don't, then maybe you should do some soul searching. And you should do a little research on this country and other things around the world. You need to figure it out. If you don't agree, you need to figure it out. Either that or just leave everything to us and go about your merry way and stick your head in a hole and live the rest of your life like that. Alright? Have a good night. I'll see you later.